Hey, everybody. Hi, I'm Alan Ning. I'm managing editor of Film Threat, and welcome to the Film Threat Watch Party. And today, we delve into the world of multi-dimensions and low-budget science fiction. I'm pleased to present to you, or we're pleased to present to you, Expulsion. And I'll just get right into it and bring on the film's director, Sean Stevens. Hi, Sean.
Hey, Alan.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Let's see. Are you in LA or in a safe location, or?
Yeah, we're actually in Phoenix. I think the cast
there
is
you go.
kind of spread out a little bit, but I myself and the production designer, my wife, actually Rachel Stevens, will be joining us here shortly. But we're out in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Yeah. Hey, before we begin, I always forget to do this, but we have a little opener. Here we go.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew I was going to forget that. All right. Well, we've got a full crew here. A lot of your actors. So let me just have you introduce them. We've got Amy. Hi, Aaron. We got Lar, Rosalie, and also joining us is Steven. Why don't you introduce everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have first Amy Cersei is played the jogger spy. It's an excellent performance. So for those of you probably that maybe are watching the movie for the first time, you'll see this jogger sort of run by this camera whenever they're outside in front of the main character's Scott's home. There is a point to that, so he has a motive that you'll uncover. Then we have the great Rosalie Fisher, who plays the wife in the film, and definitely take notice of. She's got her own radar, so she picks up on things that she's not just kind of the housewife doing the normal thing. She's pretty smart and figures out something pretty important at the end of the movie very early on, potentially saving her life and her husband's life. And then the great Lar Park Lincoln of the Friday the 13th fame and the alum. Lar was Tina in Part 7, so the lead of Friday the 13th Part 7. She's here. Gives a fantastic, eerie performance as the one and only Shara Fanning. And then my co-director and also acting in the movie, main character's sidekick is Aaron Jackson. He plays Vince in the movie. And then at the bottom there, you will see the one and only Stephen Bennett. He is our composer together for us. Definitely some interesting stories there. And Stephen actually helps do the music for the San Antonio Spurs of the NBA as well. So, welcome everybody. We're excited to have you on.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
Hi.
Before we get into it a little bit, I just need to let you know that this is a watch party. We're all going to join together. Expulsion is available on Amazon, Google Play, Apple, and Vudu. So now's your chance to rent it, buy it, and then get it queued up. So we'll give you like about 5 minutes from now to get that done. But I mean, it's not only a great movie, but also support independent film. So Sean, what can you tell us a little bit about in terms of, the idea or just, how, well, actually, let's talk about, you just recently got on all the platforms.
Right. Yeah. No. We the film opened up on 10/20, so that was on Tuesday this week. So it is available now. For those of you that may have purchased a physical copy, there were some pre-orders that came out. There is a special treat on there. We actually included a documentary about Aaron, which I'll tell you about here maybe while we're waiting. But it's a cool little feature that we added on the Blu-ray and the DVD copy version of the film. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great little bonus feature that our director of photography on Expulsion made about me and my goal of trying to reach 10,000 movies, of seeing 10,000 movies. And so he followed me around for a little bit. And it's a short, and we tried to get it out there into some festivals too. But it's a nice little treat, and I was hoping he'd be on the call tonight, but he did a really good job with the film. And then he and I kind of connected. And so he thought I was a character, apparently.
Yeah.
Why on earth would he think that?
Aaron actually, he actually has a notepad that he's had since he was a kid, where he literally tracks, and he's got all these ticket stubs. It's pretty amazing. So,
no way! Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Yep,
Cool.
little buckets full of ticket stubs.
Okay, let's see.
I
We've got
tried-
some. Already, we have comments from our audience.
Oh.
Eddie Guerrero, only here because I love Lar Park Lincoln.
Aw.
Kiss is
Yeah.
back. I hope you
We-
have so
we
much
love
fun
Lar,
watching
too.
the movie.
See, John Wood is watching us from Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
Oh,
Hi,
and
John.
here also from Lar. I think we're seeing a pattern here. Lar, you have a lot of fans.
I don't know. That might be 100% of two people. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, Eddie's from Toronto as well, and
Okay, hey.
yeah, and more love for Lar.
Well, that's sweet. I am trying to figure out, you guys, how to like watch it on my computer and the big screen at the same time. So I'm very lucky that my best friend Becca will be here shortly after she gets out of a set, and we'll figure this out.
All right, Sean, you have another guest with us.
Yeah, this is my wife, Rachel Stevens. She actually was a production designer on the film. So
Hey, Rachel.
a lot of thought and a lot of planning, measurements, and creating that doorway that everybody's going to see, the actual portal, the engine of the movie, the MacGuffin, if you will. That's all Rachel. So
Yeah, not only was that Rachel, food was Rachel, managing everything was Rachel, best buddy.
yes, absolutely. And you know,
And
it's kind
pregnant.
of
So good.
Guys, you were so amazing, every one of you. It made it so easy to do. Like, it was nothing. So happy to get to work with you guys.
Yeah, we actually had to put the door together in Michigan and then move it in pieces across country and reassemble it and prep it all up here in Arizona. So,
No kidding. I didn't know that.
absolutely.
All right, we'll have to get into that when.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tore doors apart, or TVs apart for that. We got like big tube TVs that no one uses anymore and just started smashing them apart and really got some good anger management out with it as well. And started tearing pieces apart and hot gluing them to the plywood. It was so fun.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. I love independent filmmaking. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Just a reminder, everybody, we will be starting in just a few minutes. Expulsion is available on Amazon, Google Play, Apple, and Vudu. So rent, buy it now. And then also start playing it and pause it at 0, and then we can all watch this together.
Okay. We'll figure
So-
this out.
Queued up. We're queued
There
up.
you go. Okay, so do we all have our drinks? Are we all ready to
Yeah,
go?
I'm trying. I'm getting there. Okay, I have found it in 2 places.
Uh-huh.
Or multiverses, maybe instead.
Oh, very good. Okay, so yeah, just Sean, if you could just talk a little bit about where this idea of making a sci-fi movie with such limited resources. Was it more of the challenge that appealed to you, or was it also just this desperate desire to tell a story?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, certainly the challenge was huge. It was at times it felt like it was insurmountable. But to be honest with you, Aaron and I have always said, Aaron co-wrote with me, always have had a passion about the fringe sciences, about getting to the nitty gritty of potential actual possibilities that are involved in some of the science and the technology out there. Just to kind of give you an example, the LHC, which is the much larger 17-mile real version of what Vince and Scott build in their garage in the film, and they scale it down to 50 feet. But it actually was fired up last week, and they're actually looking for other universes right now.
Mm-hmm.
And folks that are going to join the movie will see a quote at the beginning that really inspired us as we started the editing process. It was actually a post-mortem quote from the last paper from Stephen Hawking, where he actually says, after a career of sort of believing that there was this singular universe because of the discovery of the Higgs boson, or that people know it as the God particle, he actually went in and said, you know what, we're not down to a single unique universe. So even he felt that the possibility of an actual multiverse is real. So we wanted to play on that. That's where the passion came from. And then certainly, we wanted to make it so that it was fun. We wanted to make it so that it was informative and really got people thinking. And one of the biggest things is, really pay attention to the first part of the movie, the first act, because we plant a lot of seeds that blossom later in the movie as it goes on. And those aha moments are really what we look to capitalize on with this. So definitely very exciting.
All right, very good. All right, so we're ready. Let's do this.
Whoa.
So get that movie queued up. Again, it's on Amazon, Google Play, Apple, and Vudu.
Yay!
Play now and pause it at 0, and then in just a moment I will count down from ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. All right.
All right.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Theme right here for this little introduction. Aaron actually did that.
Oh, wow.
This is so cool.
It is.
Yeah, this is
And then here's
awesome.
the also banner.
Yeah, so we talk about like what I like about sci-fi nowadays is how accessible it is to filmmakers, how it's not as daunting as it was. What is the, I guess, when it comes to visual effects and things, the off-the-shelf tools you use, and is it as daunting as it seems to be?
Yeah, I can take that one, and then certainly, if anybody else wants to jump in, they certainly can. But first off, it starts when you're on set, right? So having to have, as you'll see, the main character's first appearance is actually coming up here, at least one of the versions of him. But we actually did a lot of chalk outlines on the floor. We had to split the screen, and we also had to sort of culminate that and combine it with green screen technology. So when the actor passes in front of himself, we're using a green screen. But in terms of the actual software, we use the full Adobe Creative Suite primarily, which includes After Effects. But we also used a little bit of DaVinci Resolve, which is a color grading application. There's some video editing in there too, but it's really, really color grading. And then we actually hired our visual effects artist, Nikki Reynolds, who leveraged everything from Nuke to After Effects to really sort of iron out a lot of the effects. And he actually went on to do some pretty big things. He actually did the visual effects, the compositing rather, for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that Tarantino movie. To kind of get all the old style, the old 1950s, 60s, 70s look. Forgive me, I said all 3 decades because I can't remember exactly what decade the movie. He did a great job for it, and that actually is part of the reason that it took a little bit longer to finish the film, because we wanted to wait for him. We wanted to wait for him to finish some of the bigger projects he was working on to come back in and polish this one up. So really excited to work with him.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
Sean,
amazing.
before we get too far away from that opening, don't forget whose feet cameoed at the beginning there in that scene when Scott was stabbing at somebody.
Oh yeah,
That was Sean.
Legs that are
His Hitchcock moment.
in the film.
Yes, his Hitchcock moment.
All right, so we just got a wide shot of the lab. You want to talk a little bit about this? It's more than just someone's garage, it looks like.
Yeah, Aaron, do you want to talk about it?
Well, I don't know how they got everything into this one garage.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it really was just a normal 2-car garage, and I mean, just managed to fill it up with whatever we could and make it seem a little homegrown, and yet keep the science at least somewhat grounded in the reality of what could maybe be possible. But yeah, this is definitely. Yeah. You'd be surprised how many people in that garage.
There were a lot of people in that garage.
Yeah.
My favorite spot was sitting in the middle of a time machine on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what? It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's in August.
Fit an entire portal into a different universe, into that garage, but today I can't get my van into it. So.
No.
With that portal, you can. So.
Yeah, but we actually had to go through, we wanted to create all the lighting, right? So we actually had to go through and black out. There were windows in the garage, all the nooks and crannies. There were some vents we had to seal off. And then we actually installed a little mini air conditioner because we're shooting a film in a garage in August, right? So we had a remote control little air conditioner we turn off and on between takes. But it was pretty elaborate, even just getting it prepped to be able to actually light it in the way that we wanted to. So definitely.
I've always noticed in like big studio sci-fi, a room like that would just be way too clean.
Right.
I like the fact that it just looks like a normal garage.
I love that too.
Here's Aaron's introduction.
Man, I look good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
They got the good beard action going there.
Yeah, baby.
Not a good-looking man. I don't know how. I don't know how he stood up to you.
I trimmed it back.
This is a scene
I like
that
the pink shirt.
Yeah. That was on purpose. I thought it looked good.
Did.
one of the things you'll notice, I should mention up front, if you watch this with the color, we really try to, you'll notice when they're on in this side of in this world and sort of in the real world or the main universe, it's a warmer color palette. So there's yellows, reds, oranges, pinks. And then when they go over to other Scott's side later, you'll notice that it's a lot bluer. It's a colder feel. The lips are a little bit more pink. So just kind of one of those subtle things that we did to try to create that mood. So definitely pay attention to that as well. But this is a scene, Stephen, maybe you can talk a little bit about the music here. It was a scene, this is probably the longest dialogue scene in the movie. It really sets up what's going to happen, what the problems that the duo has to overcome. So music was crucial here. Do you want to talk a little bit about that process, Stephen?
Yeah. Pardon me, this might be a little loud. My goal here was to stay out of your way. There's a lot of exposition going on right here, so still keeping that mood, and as I was guided by you and Aaron, making sure that everything sounds right, and kind of giving a little bit of trying to set some clues up, melodically for what comes next, So I'm introducing some themes here. And I did earlier as well in the first scene. And yeah.
Awesome.
I would love to say, Stephen, this is the first time I'm getting to speak to you, but I loved the music. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, good job, man. Very good job.
So much fun.
Thank you.
Doing that. It's fantastic.
I'm gonna say most of that was Aaron, because his notes were awesome.
Aaron doesn't
like he would just
push
me. He would. Well, yeah, but he got in my head, right?
There you
and that's
go.
What's key? I mean, he would. There's one scene later on, and he told me weirder. Yeah. Like it's really like I'm like okay, and I had to think outside the box.
All right, we got a question. Question from Eddie. What digital cam was used? RE Blackmagic Red.
Yeah, so we actually we used the Blackmagic Cinema 4K camera, and I think the initial reason that we used that is we like the color palette that Blackmagic offers. But here's the kicker: is that we thought we could probably use it was a less expensive sort of main portion of the camera, but by the time we had to add in all the lenses, the rigs, the monitors, everything else, we really could have probably just gone with a even a higher end camera, to be honest with you. But ultimately, this movie in 4K raw, all the way through post production. So we were literally, I believe it was clocked out at something like 22 terabytes of information to keep it all raw, and then we had to actually back that up. And then we went ahead and edited, and we put them together raw as well, and we're able to deliver a master, ProRes master. That, even larger pictures don't. So that was something that I was really passionate about. I wanted to keep it as palatable as possible, and I think that we definitely achieved that.
All right, I'll just jump a Red Rosalie scene as a social influencer.
Yeah.
I remember cameras like that. Oh, and now we're with Lar.
Hey.
Yeah, you really get a good feel here, Lar, of how about the science. But at the same time, she's got everybody to get to what Cicero ultimately wants, which is Scott to develop his portal, so they can
Yeah, I wanted her to have a feeling of having gone through a few dimensions herself and being a
Yeah,
little internally tormented and very, very, very pale and hurting.
I love that stare. Just
My children do too, Sean.
the head of the company, Frank Molinar.
Now, do you like playing the bad guy,
Sorry,
the
just-
bad person?
Well, of course. I mean, you get to wake up and get all of your nastiness out all day long for your job. So of course it's fun. She wasn't really bad. She was just sorry, that's a poodle knocking you over. After life. Sorry about
Oh,
yeah.
And there's that's Robert.
Oh, no.
Lennon.
no.
A little bit more coordinated than Lar.
Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Lennon. That's a friend of mine since I was 14. That's Bob.
No kidding, I didn't know.
Yeah,
they
I
went
met him freshman year in high school.
And everything.
All right. Okay, so John has a question. Were any of you inspired by other sci-fi films in making this one, and which ones?
Yeah, I think everybody can probably answer that. Aaron, do you want to start? You're muted, Aaron.
I mean, for me, yeah. Can you? Okay, there we go. Really, I mean, for me, when writing, I'm more of a dialogue guy, and so to me, just any conversation that's interesting to me is worth talking about, and so I'm also a Star Trek geek. So, if we're able to have these scenes and these characters with these motivations and have them able to talk through in depth and still have that sci-fi angle, I mean, to me, that's what made it the most fun. That's what made it interesting. I can't say I really drew anything from any other particular films because this one is probably more on science real than science fiction side, I hope. And there's not a lot of movies like that, actually. Most movies just go straight up, a sci-fi channel, and I didn't want to do that.
I definitely got Star Trek vibes from the dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they sound so
We
confident.
can talk through our problems. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Right.
You know, my goal in life is to be in the Twilight Zone. So I may already be there, but this film helped me too.
And then I think Steven just swooped in a comment and he said that one of his favorite lines in the movie is put that on a brochure.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, loved it.
So, and I believe that
For me, I think anyone
how-
anyone who grew up in the 80s and 90s, it's Back to the Future. That's what it reminded me of. Like just that's like my middle name, Back to the Future.
yeah, for
We
me,
just found out it's coming out in 4K. So
yeah, oh, nice. Yeah. For me, probably, I've always been entertained by films that, are different, that are sort of don't follow the same formula, that aren't afraid to do things a little bit differently. Make, for example, you point earlier, Alan, make the garage a little dirty. Make things so that it feels more real. And I think from a sci-fi perspective, it's hard to find a movie like that. But one of the best sort of art house films that I really like, certainly there aren't any story beats taken from this, but in terms of just the overall aesthetic to the film is really THX 1138. It's a low budget. Is that
George Lucas
film version of that when he was and he remade it later, but that's really that kind of turned me on at a very young age to the art cinema, and especially from a sci-fi perspective.
yeah, it's funny. Even then, that was independent filmmaking back then.
Yes,
Right.
that's right. The old 8mm camera or 16.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But even that's how the big directors even started. They had no budget. They only had
Right.
and they kind of had to beg the big studios to give them money and equipment.
Right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see, Alicia, Aaron, you're the man.
Yes, he is.
I
This
do what I
is Aaron.
can. I play to my strengths,
All right, so we're heading into where the I believe the action is about to begin.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I loved this scene. I loved the scene in the house coming up. It's so good.
Yeah, this is they're breaking in to get the cryonic battery, and I think Scott's a little bit bewildered because Vince has been here before, and he's gonna uncover how much Vince is here in just a minute.
You know, if it's already stolen, it's not stealing, right?
Right.
Right.
Repurposing.
Repurposing.
Yeah, and we
sounds
actually
good.
cut some banter right here. Yeah.
Now, whose house is
Oh,
this?
you cut out, Aaron?
There we go. What was that, Sean?
You want to cut out? You want to talk about what we cut out there? The Superman Batman line.
Yeah, I mean, there was just some banter with Vincent being quirky, and we dialed back a few spots, but you know, because Vince is basically, he talks like I do, and sometimes I talk too much. So.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this is where he's going to see Vince has been here playing poker before. One funny goof here is the math on that closely is actually not right.
Yeah. Oops.
Now, whose house is this?
This is Rachel's mom's house, actually.
So was it all shot in Arizona then?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually, we had to kind of tat her up that office a little bit more, but she was in the process of remodeling, so it was already pretty much, it was like perfect. When I saw that room, I was like, this is how Lennon would live. Like, this is where we got to shoot that scene.
My mother was thrilled. Hey, your house or your room is just an absolute atrocity. Can we use it? Yeah.
Oh, there's Chad Dooley, our DP, just chatted in. He's
hey, Chad.
Hey, Chad.
There you go.
Yeah, he is really big off like this too.
Yeah. Chad's got a new movie he's working on right now too, called Late Fees. That'll be coming out, but it's kind of a dark comedy, I think is the best way to describe that.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love his breaking in outfit on this one. Just his little hat that he has. And
Oh, Aaron changed setup here. What?
Yeah, I kept getting kicked off. I think it's my Wi-Fi. It's been acting up since my power went out earlier, and so connection's been weird. So I'm moving closer to the router.
I like this background. Did you put shelves up?
Oh yeah, those have been up for a long time.
That's
Shockingly,
exciting.
I watch a lot of movies.
I'm just so excited we have a new movie during all of this pandemic to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yay.
This is kind of a boom for independent film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
This scene here, you're about to see. So the character of Lennon, something's going to happen to him here, but we actually played around from an effects standpoint. You can kind of see a flash of light, which indicates what might come later. I don't want to spoil anything, but we actually had played around with some effects and getting a portal to actually open right there in the office. And it just looked out of place to kind of have that happen off camera, but everyone will get to see it later in the film. Here's where the person, and does anybody want to guess who's in the black? Who played that
I
role?
don't know who's in the black. Who is
We
it?
actually had one of our crew members named by the name of Tori Anderson actually jumped in there and did a great job.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering who that was.
That was Tori. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That'll be good.
Yeah.
I sort of like the idea that the owner of the home has a particle accelerator and boxes around his office.
Right. And in a drawer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, now knowing kind of who Lennon is, like, I thought at first he was trying to do what Scott and Vincent were, but now I think he was just gambling those parts away.
Oh, that's really true. Technical espionage.
Y'all, my best friend Becca has arrived. She's also my studio manager and assistant.
Hey, Becca.
Hi.
Becca's an actress. She's in all 3 unions and just crewed a film I just did called 13 Fanboy. So she's pretty awesome. Glad she's here. She brought the ice tea.
Absolutely. This is actually all of our, for those of you watching, our second time as a cast and crew watching this together. We actually,
That's right.
Yep, we had a premiere here in Phoenix at one of the local theaters, and we're all able to attend that. I think everybody here was there.
That was so much fun. I loved going to that premiere. I loved it.
Yes.
It was a blast.
So much fun.
Yeah, there we go. 13 Fanboy. And John says hi to Becca.
John says hey.
And then Sheila, let's say hi to Laura again. Laura, you bring in our biggest audience.
Yeah.
Well, I'm probably the oldest, so maybe that's why.
I think, Amy, did we just see your first appearance? Did that happen? Yeah, I think we just jogged by here a minute ago. That was her first background. So if you watch all the scenes outside of their house, you'll see her jog by, except for the ones that the night scenes. But yeah.
One of the funniest comments I got. Oh,
what?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say one of the funniest comments I got at our other screening was they thought that you guys just cheaped out on extras and used the same extra over and over again. My character.
Person jogging by. Yeah.
I loved your character so much. The jogging by, but then the intense scene we have with you later. Oh my God! I'm not gonna let anybody know, but loved it.
So much fun. I love this. I love this part.
And then here's another.
Yeah, I remember when we. I would say when we offered it the role to Amy, we had to explain like it's just called Jogger. You're in a bunch of scenes, but
you actually do have some lines, you know.
But no,
it was really funny.
Oh yeah, chef.
Right. There's a scene. We promise.
I love this where we find out that is he dead or is he not dead?
Yeah, still alive. It's like, what's going on here? Yeah. That's the first indication that something's a little bit awry. And I love how your character, Laura, is just so nonchalant about it. Like, here he is, guys. Haha. Like almost like you know. And then for people that watch this at multiple viewings, you kind of start to think when he had that chronic battery in his house that they lifted earlier, did he really steal it from work, or did he kind of know that was going to happen and prep it for him? You know what I mean?
I feel like she knew. I really felt like she knew that what had happened the night before. Yeah. Dang, Becca.
For our website, you guys can see some pictures on our website, expulsionmovie.com. There's a picture shot of that scene. But go ahead, Eric.
There. Oh.
I think you're going to say something, Eric. Were you going to say something that I cut you off?
Oh no, I was.
Aaron?
No, I was just agreeing with Laura that she definitely knew.
Yeah.
The characters knew. The characters on the company side, they definitely.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there he goes again.
I mean, because it's probably happened a few times.
Or which version of Aaron was that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Very good, sir.
Don't tell everybody the story. What's going to happen?
Aaron's
We'll see that part.
Different universes.
I know.
Fantastic.
Because you realize now that Marvel's copying you.
Right. Yeah. We can say we actually shot it. We wrote it in 2016. Really, and kept writing it through 2017, but we actually shot this, or the bulk of it, I should say, in the end of 2017. So before all the Marvel multiverse madness came out, and all that, that we actually had already had this pretty much in the can. There were a couple of pickup shots and things that we did for a few scenes, but and here they are opening the portal.
Well, the movie
I loved it.
with Marvel.
That's After Effects then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To figure out.
Don't step on my head, Colton, when you go through the door, Scott, or other Scott.
Really opened it for the first time, and
Amy. Hi, Mama.
Joker.
He's super angry. She'll be fine.
I like how we all go quiet at this part.
yeah,
We're like
So
listening.
intense.
Let me also ask you. So, in movies, sci-fi movies like this, the rules are very important. The rules of the movie, the rules of the story, the rules of the game. What was that process like for you in terms of developing that? You're dealing with dimensions. How you've got to say, okay, this is the rules, and this is how it's going to fit in our story.
right. Yeah, no, I mean, I'll let Aaron answer this, but I'll just say one little thing, and that is the one piece that we really, really wanted to focus on was that the expulsion theory and what happens. So you basically have, you can't have two objects of the same matter in the same universe. Otherwise, one of them expels, right? So basically, the rule was there always has to be a portal open to another universe for two people to be in the same existence together. But ultimately, there is a device that allows you to do that, which you'll learn about later here in the movie. The jogger may or may not have that device on her. I guess we'll see. But that was really the big piece, was the same matter can't occupy the same space without another portal being open to their own universe. But Aaron, if you want to elaborate on that a little bit more, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, basically it started with grander ideas, of course, but we had to write for our budget. I mean, this low budget filmmaking in a garage in Arizona. So we could only have so many Scotts. We could only have so many angles with the door open. And so if we had, several $1 million or more, it definitely would have gone bigger. But as far as just expectations and such, and keeping within the realm of the sci-fi that we could manage, we definitely cut back on some complications as far as the science and the different dimensions. But I think it makes it tighter to me.
Right.
Oh, it makes you feel like you're really there. I mean, you guys, there's really nothing small about your film at all. The sincerity and the story. I remember the very first night I read this script, I was in my acting studio, and even Becca, you were there. I was reading it. I fell in love with it that second. There's just nothing small about it at all. It's genuine, real, sincere, fun.
Yeah, I was
happy to be a part of it.
Your review, a lot of your peers, and I don't want to call out anyone else by name, but there's some other reviews that we got were very similar in that it really is the story. And again, it goes back to those aha moments. That it's really the building planting those seeds that can grow into oh, that's why that's why he was thinking that way, or that's why that character was being that. They had another motive in their hip pocket. That kind of stuff, I think, really is one of the strengths of the film. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I loved, not to spoil anything, but there may or may not be swerves at the end that really threw me. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, wait, what was that, Alan? What did you say?
Well, there's we're going to ultimately get there at the end of this, but there may or may not be a swerve at the end that really threw me, really caught up,
right?
Caught me off guard.
Yeah, and I loved it.
And it's hard to do
that.
There's
a couple of them, Alan. There's a couple.
Yes.
One will happen in the kitchen, and then a little later, Yeah,
maybe they might be.
We're about to see a very curious scientist, and Scott, played by the great Colton Tapp, give in to his curiosity. He's told everybody, "I won't open this portal," but he's about to. He's flirting with the idea right here. Should I open it and cross over?
Right.
Telling me not to do that, but I'm trying to tell you what he's thinking right now, and it's, oh man, I'm going to try to just go to bed. No
way.
You got to go through. How do you not go through the opening? I mean, come on.
Seriously.
And he's about to give into it here.
Yeah. That is a pretty impressive door, though.
Yes. Thank you.
I mean, I don't know if I would.
You're smarter than most.
credit for that, but that was actually, I think it was a CGI. Is that what it's called? CGI.
Yes.
I love that door. It's fantastic, but I just built the sides. It was the rest of it was not me.
Yeah, in the middle of the door there was a green screen, so the metal, sort of the you see the kind of the heat shield that pops out in the middle. That was all CGI. But the actual door, and on our website again, you can see some behind the scenes photos that sort of show what the door looks like prior to the CGI. But that metal piece there was not actually there.
I think wasn't I really sitting in it, or wasn't there?
Yeah, you were sitting up against the
I felt like I was really there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the part.
Yeah.
Was not there.
Yeah, the door was there, but not the.
Everything, yeah.
So John wants to know: was it hard to keep up with the rules in making the film? So you set all these rules. Was there where it just kind of got away from you, maybe?
I'll let Aaron answer that, but I'll just say to keep up with the rules and making this film and getting the block and everything. This is what it took right here. This gigantic sheet and log. If you guys remember this thing, I was gonna bring it on and tease Chad, our DP, with this because he had to read and memorize this whole thing. We had a rule guide, and here it is. So,
oh man,
Aaron, go ahead.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I mean, yeah, we just basically with the planning, we had to remember like keeping up with the rules and such. Like we had to know in every scene when the doorway was open, who was on which side, which characters went where, and we just had to keep it all straight. And I can only imagine how much more complicated it could have been. But even just like in the planning stages, like we had to make sure that like, oh well, the doorway had to be open for this to happen, and then for this to happen, and so we just had to make sure everything made sense in what we established.
Right.
Yeah, like
such a great job here with Colton. Such an awesome job playing the dual characters.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine this takes a lot of planning. This just is one thing right there.
Yeah, making sure the eye lines lined up with his eyes looking into the eyes. Remember having to tape onto the forehead.
Yeah, that's right. Did you want to talk about that, Rosalie? Well, one of our we had stand-ins for him, but one of them was a little bit shorter, so I'll let Rosalie explain how he overcame that problem.
Yeah, his double was we had to put pieces of tape, or you guys put pieces of tape onto his forehead just above his eyes, so that the eye contact would be the same and lined up. That's funny.
Yeah, we actually taped a bunch of books on the bottom of his boot. So a shot of that actually on our Instagram wall as well. If people want to check it out, how we
I forgot about that.
Or that standing up rather. But yeah, Colton did a great job. I love to see that other Scott again. We have that blue color palette that I was talking about, a little colder feeling.
Right.
But I love how Colton plays just so nonchalant. Like I've seen this before. There's no, this isn't surprising me at all. He really pulled that off pretty magnificently.
Right. We had the wonderment of Scott, and then we just had the hardened edge of other Scott.
I love how he's drinking his tea. I didn't make it for you. That just shows things are different. They're the same different universal, versions of your own self, but one of you likes tea and one doesn't. So, I'm sure there's a whole story there as to why he likes tea versus his counterpart, his doppelganger.
I like the question of, is that other person really a jerk or is it me?
That one.
He did such a good job with the,
the
two
other
Scotts,
Scott.
two different characters.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of lures you in with the sort of everyday man of the first one, and then when you see this other side come out, it's like, ooh, very cool.
This is the part here. Hey, Aaron, do you remember whose hand this was right here? Whose hand did we?
I'm sorry, what?
You?
I don't know.
I do not.
It wasn't my hand, was it? I think it was today. I think James Gourdet, one of the stand-ins, I think we used his hand.
I think so.
A great stand-in too. He did an awesome job because he was really having to watch a lot of activity. He had to watch one actor do both characters and play each side. That was a really good job for stand-in. People don't realize how much the crew and the stand-ins do on a show.
I sure
Oh,
did
well,
not
found on those books.
I saw he was memorizing all of the lines,
Yeah.
so that when
Yeah.
Colton was talking to him, he
His
could
mouth was moving.
act like it was nuts. And I was like, oh my God, people don't realize like
No.
there's a lot that goes into being an extra.
Absolutely.
He was very helpful on some of the more complicated scenes that we did that come up later. Like he just was really helpful.
Yeah.
Now, who is he acting against in terms of dialogue?
He did great. Real good job.
And then, Stephen, you want to talk about? Remember here we had the musical beat when he says "your wife." That's coming up when he leaves. That was a nice ad.
Yeah, I remember that, and trying to find that right sound because it's a really important. It's like underlining your dialogue here.
Yeah.
Made it very human. It's like.
I love how the music gives hints of kind of what's going to happen later if you really listen. Like, for example, earlier in the garage, you said we need to get a blue core battery, and you could hear the music lift there as well a little bit. So great job with that, Stephen.
Yeah, and something that Alan pointed out, some of the twists later on, and some of what inspires Scott, to do all of this. Those themes are sort of revealed later on, but they're introduced from the beginning. You just don't know it yet.
I mean, Stephen, it's really fun to get to see you and talk with you right now because it was literally 20 years before I ever got to meet Harry Manfredini, who did all of the Friday 13th and all of the music, and getting to meet him and him talking about how he would score the music to the actors and the writing. So my appreciation for it is so much different now, getting to meet you behind the scenes.
So everything you just said was like the most amazing thing I think I've ever heard. That was really cool. No, that's awesome.
It's true though. It is. You create the characters. I'm always teaching the actors. Look, we don't have to carry it all because somebody's going to add in the music and the cuts and the edits, and they're going to make us look great with their talent.
I mean, I will say. When we took this on like a year ago, over a year ago, when things were normal, crazy, when things were normal, this was like the most challenging thing I'd ever done,
really?
By far. Yeah, it was. Because I wanted to get it right, I wanted to do justice to the script, to the film, and it was so rewarding.
You have a massive career ahead of you with all of this. I know you've already had one, but yeah, I think just what you did with this was really awesome.
Turned like beet red right now.
Maybe it's COVID. Yeah. But seriously, I mean, Sean and Aaron pulled this off by pulling together. Wasn't that the guy right there that kept calling himself bartender number something? That was his joke thing.
Yeah. Lonely lab guy number 3. He wanted to be lonely bartender number 3.
Yeah.
He actually was in the running for the lead of Scott. He actually read very well for it. Colton obviously won that out, but he's got a couple other films that he's done now as well. But Keith also does a podcast. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
I loved this scene with Colton so much. I know it was long. It was at the end of the day, and we were having to really catch it. And I just loved scaring him to death about Margale.
This is my favorite scene. Speaking of Margale, this is my favorite scene. There's the jogger again. There's Amy.
Yes. And then the old guy. I love the old guy.
Such a fabulous job of being just a good, creepy old man. This is by far like one of the best scenes in the movie for me.
Look at those great socks. Is that your father, Rachel?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, no, Michael. He's the Krampus alum, so he's been in those Krampus movies.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But,
I've worked with him a lot here locally in a bunch of movies. He's so much fun to work with. Like he is the best to work with.
Yeah,
he's so
nice.
supportive. He's so wonderful. I love Michael.
Rosalie, why don't you, not to put you on the spot, but for this scene, talk a little bit about how it was working with Michael for this, because you did a really good job the way you sort of the subtle things back a little bit there. I love that, and the hairbrush there. There were multiple takes on that. I wanted that hairbrush because it looks so natural. But talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
He definitely was so natural. It just made it easy to respond naturally. Like just kind of getting that kind of creepy look in his eye. I hate to say it because he's so nice, but it just played out really kind of naturally and easily, just in the moment. And it was particularly difficult because it was so hot and so bright just in that part of the day, and he just like, I don't know. I really enjoyed working with him in that scene.
And I'll say too with the this is where you discover something there.
I love this
to you guys. But for those of you that are into the sort of maybe the sound mix out there in the audience, I know a lot of filmmakers are film threat. Love to watch these things, including myself. But shooting outside there, with just the road out there and the air conditioners of the neighbors going off and everything. I cannot stress enough. We had a full sound crew with booms and everything, but the lav mics, you got to have lav mics in those situations. We would have had to redub that had we not had the lav mics. So for all the filmmakers out there, when you're in a noisy situation, especially, or someplace that's really echoey, the lav mics are critical.
It's literally it's sound and light, to just make or break.
Yeah. Absolutely. John's question there. This sounds like a movie that the more you watch it, the more clues you pick up. Yes.
Definitely.
So much.
John, we could have gotten, because that's exactly what Aaron and I set out to do, was make you ask questions, and sometimes some of the questions get answered, some of them don't, and it kind of leaves you allows you to make your own conclusions on some things. But that's what
makes a good movie that you can rewatch again and again.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Aaron, do you want to talk about this scene a little bit? What was it like shooting this?
When did you do this, Aaron? Was this like, what part of the filming did you shoot this outdoor stuff? Because I wasn't there.
I mean, it was kind of here and there, and I mean, and real quick about being outside and such, some advice too. Always have umbrellas.
Yes.
Especially in the sun. Always have umbrellas, because being out there shooting, that sweat is not fake.
Brutal.
Thank you, Aaron, for you were my umbrella guy during that whole scene. Thank you.
No, it was just Aaron's beard that was the umbrella.
Yeah.
Last time I was in Arizona, it was 116.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's about what it was during this time.
We actually shot this, Lar, the last day of filming, or I should say. And then we had some other scenes that we did, like the very last scene of the movie, for example, we shot later. But yeah, it was a couple days after Colton left.
Okay.
Had finished his scenes. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, this scene was shot at his parents' house, and while this is happening outside, obviously, his dad and my family were kind of like trying to take care of the craft table and make sure all that stuff was, taken care of. And his mom had gone to the store, and his dad got a call from her saying, "Hey, I've been in a car accident and I need to go, I need you to come get me." And Doug, his dad, just flies out the door. And we're like, "Oh my God, is there anything we can do? Like, we're in the middle of shooting. Audrey was in an accident." Doug opens up his front door, and his mom is keeled over to her knees, laughing her butt off because she was not in an accident, and she really just wanted to get action.
Oh my God.
I didn't even know any of this. We were so busy. I didn't even know this even happened.
She's got such a wild.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
This is where Scott's about to reveal some news to his wife. There's somebody that might have an answer for us, but you gotta prepare yourself because.
Right, I love that.
Rosalie, I loved this outfit. It was so cute.
So cute.
Yeah. I loved the color palette you chose for Margale, the sunset colors. I love that.
I think you chose the outfits for her, so you get to take all the credit for that. But her outfits were adorable, and I especially loved this one.
Yeah, I think we gave you the warm color palette.
Thank you.
That was a good choice, Rosalie.
Yes. Yeah. This is where I discovered the bug.
Yeah.
No, you've already discovered the bug.
Oh, I guess I've already discovered it, but I'm telling him about it.
Yeah.
Now you're meeting your husband's twin.
You just
I
had that
love how
awesome
you-
scene where you smashed it.
Yeah.
I love how you back into the chair. It's like, oh man.
I love how other
I love how
Scott-
you were doing that the first take, it was Aaron or someone like looked behind, like what? Because they thought I was really like something happened and I really jumped at something.
That's just good acting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming up right here, if you listen carefully, you'll hear he leans over the machine there, and you'll hear a little like he snaps something on there, and that he uses that later. But if you listen carefully right here, you can actually hear him apply this device on the side there as he's leaning over. He's sneaking that device on there, and you'll all see that later as you're sort of watching the film what that does. But that's kind of a little Easter egg.
Oh, yeah.
This is tripping me out. I had to watch these scenes over and over again to score them, and I never noticed that
Uh-oh. I
at
know.
all. And I had no music. Yeah, so this is really cool.
Now I must say I've never met a Margale before. Is that a? Do you actually know someone with that name? Or
I don't. I just I initially the first pass, 'cause I wrote the first draft, and it was Margot, and I'm like Margot, not anybody who's named Margot, not any but I wanted something a little bit more unique or a little different, so I started kind of Googling and playing around with Margot and came up with Margale. That's how that happened.
This is a cool one. Cool name.
Here comes the walk around and then the kiss of the hand, which we almost cut the kiss of the hand, but Rachel would not let me cut that.
No, it's creepy. It's wonderfully creepy.
It was so. That's the perfect way to describe it. Just the way that he did it, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
No,
It's like it's flattering. It's just flattering. I love that one.
While you're watching it, type of creepy,
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, it sets up. It really sets the tone for later.
Yeah, yeah, it really does.
It's kind of a running. This is where he keeps telling Margale how much he loves her and he's so happy to meet her again and this and that. If you watch throughout the movie, there's several times in the last scene. It got a chuckle when we watched it in the theater. He says, "I'll always miss you, Margale." So that's kind of a running theme with these other Scots. They can meet and they definitely. I kind of just spoiled it a little bit if you were paying attention, I think. But
I was pretty impressed with that pass of his between Margale and.
yeah.
Oh, it was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't know how that happened.
That's the green screen. You got to use a green screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Make sure you turn up the volume to get the full effect of the creepy.
Yeah. It just seems overly complicated.
The stand-in too.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and that last shot as he turns, it's a different actor getting the shadows to line up, part of the editing process. There's another scene later where they're nose to nose and having that shadow cross. It's actually the extra or the stand-in shadow, and you capturing those things adds the level of believability to sharing having the same actor play both roles. Just kind of a nugget there. This plan is in motion.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're so into this movie right now.
This was
It's
We're just watching it.
I know. So creepy. I'm creeped out.
it's surprisingly difficult to keep folding clothes at the same rate, take after take. 'Cause we'd be like,
Oh wow.
I remember you
Which
doing
one?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was
that.
But you made it look believable, so nice job. Really good.
Oh yeah.
And you helped me out with laundry, so thank you also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I should say we're about at the 50-minute mark in case people are just joining us.
Okay. Everybody.
Welcome.
This is kind of this scene, Rosalie, was probably the most in terms of, real quick here, we're seeing how he knows what you guys are doing. He's got a device that allows him to look into other dimensions. How cool would it be to have one of those for real? Right?
Yeah.
And
It
also-
would have been nice if we could have used that at the end of 2019.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. But and this scene, Rosalie, is probably the most dramatic in terms of for both you and Colton to play. There's even some tears that are coming up here. What is it like? Is it to prepare for a moment like this? What do you do? You're not obviously. You have to sort of ground a little more, focus in a little bit more on the feelings of the character, and really try to be empathetic. How do you prepare for a scene like this when you compare it to the other scenes in the movie?
I had just come from like a unique training program in London, right, like a week before this. So
Yeah.
I already like had so much at the surface, and I was trying to hold back because I just was trying not to overdo it because I had just spent a few weeks really overdoing it. So I think just really like taking that mental step into really connecting with the character and just the story and really feeling it. For me, I don't know. It was more about trying to reel it in because of just connecting with the story. Like, can you imagine? And then if your lives are in danger or you don't even know what's going to happen, and it's a lot of kind of freaky deaky stuff,
Right. Yeah, this is absolutely. There's a nugget here that's planted when he talks about. Sorry, the note came and just distracted me.
Yeah.
But when Colton talks about why one of the reasons why he really wanted to create the portal with his what happened with the gun and the World War II weapons that his father collected. The grandpa collected rather. But the bottom line is, at the end of the movie, you'll see a moment where he's challenged, and they say, if you build this again, we'll give you anything you want. Well, what's going through his head right there, right?
Yeah.
This might be something that's going through his head. So keep that in the back of your mind to see.
Do we have any more now? Oh, got it. I'm good. Merci.
Hey, Jason, I saw your comment there. Haven't talked to you in a while, but thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
You really feel for Margale's character here. Like, this was just such a
It's like so overwhelming.
like, and what a horrible position to be put in. Like that, just
Right.
ugh.
Just kind of like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Vince is here.
Like, go.
Yeah, she's like, really?
Good job.
Runner.
You guys did a job.
Our jogger.
I'm running.
I should
Nice,
know,
you're on it.
on the Blu-ray and the DVD, you can see a couple of deleted scenes, and one of them is would have played just right before this, where there's another spy that's walking a dog that comes up to Aaron while he's waiting.
Yes.
So that's something everyone can catch up on as well.
Forgot about that scene.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were trying to keep it under an hour and 40, and some, and there really weren't too many places where we can do full cuts without affecting some details or story beats or information, and so it just ended up being cut.
Yeah, always part of the movie creation and editing process. It's hard to cut things, but you got to fit it into a certain. Right. We did not want to go over 100 minutes. That was the max for a film like this that we wanted to hit. Good stuff. Aaron, talk about the dialogue here. Aaron, for those of you that don't know, typically our writing process, I'll get the first couple of drafts ironed out, get feedback, iron out again, and then Aaron will get a hold of it and really sort of go in and flesh out the dialogue. I love the dialogue in this scene, especially the part where he says, "I think a little pee just came out." Give us a little bit about, portal or open up a dimension of your mind. How do you come up with some of this sort of color commentary on the dialogue?
Well, I mean, I'm a bit of a wiseacre, and so it's easy to write lines for myself. But I mean, whether this scene or really any of the other ones, like what I really wanted to do was I want to make sure that characters are gray. Like no one's all good, no one's all bad, no one is always a jerk, no one's always funny, and so I wanted to keep them realistic. And this is an odd situation that both of them are in. So how do you really handle that? How do you react?
Right. And just having some fun with it. He's just been in a very dire situation. He just literally saw a portal open up right in front of him and the guy walked through it, So he's just takes it with a grain of salt. But there might be more to his reaction if you continue to watch the film. You'll find out later. Here comes the jogger again. Hey, Amy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hot.
Yeah.
When you read, let's see, you can watch it on Prime, Vudu, Apple, and there's a third one, Google Play.
Prime, Vudu, Apple, and Google Play, which is also paid YouTube, actually. If you search it, and you can pull it up on YouTube.
Oh, the old YouTube Reb.
That device that you put on the side I was talking about earlier, there it is.
Oh.
Aha.
He's able to control things. I love this shot.
That's one of the things that I really like. About what we did.
Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
That's good.
That.
No, I was just saying is like with that little device, I like everything that you need to know is in the movie, but we don't blatantly explain everything. Not everything is pointed out. There's not always a camera angle to show you like, oh, remember this one thing, we don't have characters completely say their motivation out loud, and
Right.
So even if some things might feel like they're not fully elaborated on, it's all there. Like there's enough there to sort of decide for yourself everything that you need to know.
That's what's nice about it. It's not so obvious. Sorry, it's not so obvious, and that's what makes it rewatchable, I think, again and again, where you do pick up all of those little clues along the way.
Yeah.
Shout out here to Chad Dooley for the moving the camera in with the dolly, coming back, and then as it starts to push in again, you'll notice the next shot it's going to pick up where the camera's pulling away. Fantastic. They got them really easy to edit together. And then also, Stephen, coming up here, in my opinion, the music here, where he starts to kind of walk over the bed, just makes it creepy as hell, man.
So creepy.
Creepiest moment of the movie.
Hey,
It
Eric.
really bumped up the creepy factor here.
Not that it needed that extra creepy factor, but it was
Right.
super helpful.
There's also the group discussion point of the movie.
Apparently, Aaron? Can I share what you sent to me? Your notes on this part.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay. let's see. Was it? Can we make this sound a little creepier? A doppelganger is sneaking into the hero's house to bang his wife. It's creepy. It's creepy. And I was like, no problem. I'll make it as creepy as possible.
Yeah. What did you use to inspire you for that inspiration?
No problem. I'll make it as creepy as possible.
There's Lar.
Wondering.
We're joined by Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. I hit the wrong button.
There he is.
Hey guys.
Hey, Paul. How you doing?
You might have to turn down your computer monitor, or we're hearing echo from you.
Sorry.
I'll introduce. This is Paul Tapp. He's my business partner. He had a huge hand actually in helping to get Colton on the film because he used some of his contacts and platform to get the ad put out there that Colton ultimately replied to. So, but Paul is also a huge driving force behind the distribution with colossal content. So, welcome, Paul.
Yep, Paul, you have to turn down whatever speaker is on your computer, so because we're picking that up, and then unmute yourself.
I love this shot here too of Colton with the depth of field and the blurry headlights in the background kind of ricochet a little bit. Kind of gives you the feeling of multiple. I know it's little things like that, but I'm kind of geek out about them.
Well, they add so much. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh, John just gave you an idea for the sequel.
Oh.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Expulsion to the jogger.
Yeah, I mean that would be an interesting way to. How do you bring the jogger into the second film? I mean that's a movie in and of itself.
You'll just keep going through multiverses and show up in different.
Not that we're saying anything about the jogger.
Right.
Yeah, that is really job security, Amy. That is good work.
Yeah,
that's what's great about being in a sci-fi show is you can always find some way to bring somebody back somehow. There's always some loophole.
You can just jog through all sorts of different movies.
Sci-fi, soap opera, you come back a few times. There you go.
Totally.
Hey, Alan, can you give Paul the time of the movie? I don't know if he's.
Oh yeah, the movie we are at 1 hour 2 minutes.
Perfect.
1 hour 2 minutes.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Matt's loving the film, and he's expecting a second feature from.
Yay!
Thanks, Matt. That's awesome, buddy. Thank you. This scene was cut down a little bit too. It initially had a little bit longer, but what we sort of when we watched the movie, the initial cut I think of the movie that's 100 minutes now was somewhere around 108. So we cut almost a full 10 minutes out, but they kind of re-explained some of the things they talked about the part that was cut earlier in the film. So when Scott first crossed over, so we felt it was prudent to take that piece out. I love the dynamic between the two of them here. I'll call him good Scott, but Scott that you see on the screen now, he actually has some empathy earlier in this scene for other Scott, which his other Scott's plan gets a little bit more, comes to the surface a little bit more. Scott actually understands that maybe I shouldn't have trusted him so much. So I love how he explains Cicero's plan here, though. Here's an interesting, everyone has probably a subtitle.
Well,
but go ahead, Aaron. What I was going to say is, again, for the filmmakers out there, you'll notice that the movie is, and that the name of the corporation is Cicero Market Technologies, and that's a product of script clearance. So whenever you write a screenplay, you have to if you intend on releasing it to a wide audience through the various streaming platforms, you got to get what's called script clearance, which basically goes in and looks for the names of real companies or real corporations, and obviously no real corporation wants to be the evil corporation, right? So,
Right.
So we went ahead and had to sort of lengthen the name there to distinguish it from any other real Cicero that's out there. But that's kind of an interesting tidbit that you go through up until even the final draft before the shooting script. When we got clearance, it was actually just Cicero, but we weren't able to use that for obvious reasons. So it's kind of an interesting nugget there.
What is the real Cicero?
It's actually a tech company.
And also, too, I want to go and point out that with Other Scott explaining.
Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, well,
Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my connection is poor. No, I was gonna say, like, even though Other Scott is explaining what Cicero's motivations are, he might be lying.
He might be.
Absolutely.
This is a shot that we. This is the last shot that we did. We did this after the premiere in the theater that everybody on the call saw. We actually added this scene in. We just felt it fit a little bit more, kind of outlined and highlighted some of the stress that Vince is going through, the Aaron's character is going through. We kind of have a clear picture of what, obviously, here Other Scott is going through as well. He's a little frustrated. I love this take here. This is where he discovers you get your first glimpse at. He may not be 100% truthful about the relationship with having his wife having passed away, and you'll get more of that here in a minute.
He doesn't handle it very well.
Right? Yeah, he does not. That's very true. One of my favorite lines in the movie is coming up here too. I'll tell.
I like that we see Scott, though, who's normally very controlled and scientific and well thought out. It's just really starting to lose it in his own private life there a little bit, you know.
That was my favorite line right there. Where he says he's usually waiting.
Yeah.
That's comforting. I love it.
Yeah. Comforting.
Let's go.
And now they go
Is it
through.
weird, Aaron, seeing yourself on TV in the movie?
What's that?
Do you judge your acting ability?
Like, as an actor, do you guys judge your own ability, or do you wait for other people to do that? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah.
Always. It's hard watching yourself. I don't think I can, like Joaquin Phoenix, and there's a bunch of them where they say I never watch my own movies, and I'm pretty sure I'm leaning that way too. Like, ooh, I don't think I can watch myself. It almost hurts, you know?
Yeah, it's quite brutal because what the audience sees or likes or enjoys, you know, it's not really the actor's choice. It's the perception of the audience and how the film is put together. So it can be quite gut wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I can say from the direction side of that same question. Well, as you know, Paul, you've directed obviously the movie yourself, but it's the most enjoyable piece of it is when you're actually able to watch it, like as we are right now, with other people and get to see their reactions to it. So those of you out there watching the film, feel free if you see something that you have a question on or you want to laugh at, just LOL it in the comments, or let us know, because that's really where we get the biggest sort of payoff.
And as an actor too, something important to me that I'm always trying to teach other actors is it's not the budget or the marketing or the reviews. It's the work you're doing and enjoying it later, and to just be proud and enjoy what you've done because it's what you chose to do over any commercial idea of a story.
Right.
That means a lot to me.
Absolutely. I can't tell if Aaron is like just holding really still or if the camera froze.
Hey, freeze.
He's like a ninja.
He's like super zen right now.
My connection is not good. I apologize.
Well, maybe the connection that you have in general is not good. Science fiction man. You're a wackadoodle science fiction man that we love.
But you look like a ventriloquist right now, so that's good. That's impressive.
That was one of my favorite scenes of yours, Aaron, too, right there, where the anger just getting riffed. Like, it's like if you know the end of the movie, you know his character is having some internal turmoil there.
That was fun.
Sure.
Were the crickets added in, or is that natural wild track?
What's that? Oh, the cricket? No, that was ambience.
Okay, we all wondered about the cricket and the thunder because I was asked, I'm like, I don't remember if that thunder and stuff was real.
That's a good question. The thunder's coming up later, and actually, that was actually added on purpose. And even when we went through our QC process for all the platforms, that was one of the questions they had. But if you watch the lighting, the clouds, the actual cloud cover happens at that exact moment. And it also was a riveting point in the story where they actually figure out Margale may be in trouble.
Added the thunder.
So we added the thunder in to play off of that.
Yay, okay.
Then I agree with your comment. The acting was fantastic. Sounds like you had a good canvas to work off of.
Yeah, that was good. Oh, the jogger's big part's coming up. You're about to see the jogger.
Oh, I love this scene.
This is where everything gets crazy. Everything gets crazy here.
So right here, you're still thinking, okay, the jogger just jogging by again. What's going on? But then
great intensity. Love it.
Hey, what's going on here?
That's good and creepy right there.
Yeah, just that physicality. Awesome.
So some of my favorite movies were Terminator, Aliens.
Oh yeah.
Blade Runner. So just to play this part was so much fun.
I'm supposed to ask you nicely.
Yeah.
I love that tracking shot up on you to kind of give you the I've arrived feel.
Mm-hmm.
Will you give us what we ask?
I don't know whose audio's playing on the movie, but it's synced up. It's synced up perfectly with my views.
That's so fantastic. Yeah,
I love this. Oh, no.
Amy is awesome.
That was fun being dragged over the door jam. That was really cool.
That she's being dragged over is not a sound effect. That is her head on the ground.
Ouch.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned Amy when they really got hurt there a little bit, right? When they,
my head went whack right on the door.
This is also a little different from the theatrical screening. We added, probably hard to tell, but when you watch it holistically, we actually added some more shots of you on the ground.
Oh, okay.
What she needs is salvation.
Talk about
And Colton does such a good job playing two different versions. Like they actually feel like different characters.
She needs an ambulance. She needs salvation.
Where's that device I was talking about earlier? So now if he shuts that door, both versions of Scott can coexist because he has that on him.
She's not from here.
I love how he smells blood. There was one horror site. I can't remember which one it was, but that was the shot that they put up to promote. I love that where he's sniffing the
Somebody could smell a rusty pipe in your eye, to be quite honest. But.
What was it like laying there for so long for all the tapes?
You guys made me pretty comfortable. It wasn't that horrible. The stand-in, we were talking about him earlier. He entertained me. He was very nice.
I remember bringing a little pillow in there for you.
Yes, you did.
We take it out and we're ready to roll.
That's right. Well, it was a funny because it was so hot, but the garage floor was super cold, so we had that nice balance of cold garage floor and
in Arizona heat. Yes, I live there too.
Yep.
I just love that idea of how evil the other you can be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What went so horribly wrong in her life that she was like that?
That
It's probably just a really fine
the original Scott's almost buying into it for a second, which is also very disturbing. He's kind of buying into it, and then he realizes I'm not this person. It's ew.
Yeah.
That's great.
We can't do that. Switch, God, she's getting away.
I have the captions on, and it says "jogger screaming." So even in the caption, you got jogger.
Forever jogger.
This is the expulsion shot here. So for those of you watching, what you're about to see is the other version of her, of the jogger, and another living her life as normal, and feeling the effects of it a little bit because the universe is fighting over which one of these two versions of her are going to survive.
It's like one of my favorite scenes.
So happy with this scene because we had to use a dropper for the liquid blood, and
for the bloody nose.
we timed it so perfectly.
Right.
When you see her with the blood and the bloody nose, like that was a one-time take, and it was so perfect, and I was so happy. This was the first time we did it.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah.
And I was wearing a white shirt, so if we'd screwed it up, then we would have had a serious continuity issue that we would have had to clean the blood up every time.
Here's the shot of Preston he walked away I was talking about earlier. The way that we did this to time it perfectly is we actually had James Gorday, the stand-in this scene, actually hold up we had Colton record himself giving his line, and then James actually held up the phone of him saying his lines right in front of him so he could time it perfectly, and then we flipped it and did the same thing over again.
I was gonna say when the jogger gets dusted, that's just proof that Marvel is stealing from you.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see. So John says, I find if you enjoy what you like doing, as Lars says, the audience will see it and hopefully enjoy it as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you
So true.
fun is the big part of making movies.
Right.
Yeah.
So you cross over all willy-nilly, and now that the shoe's on the other foot, you got such a problem. Huh? Oh, nice, Scott.
I love it.
Chill down.
See, now he's obviously had figured out,
Yeah.
this guy's, what did I get myself into?
This is the end for us, Scott. You gotta go back over and learn things.
Is that me?
Yeah, I hear some music playing or something.
Yeah. Is that me or is that someone else? Oh, that's weird.
Someone's taking over your score, Steven.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's like the remix.
Okay, there we go.
But
I just noticed the 4.999s all over.
Yeah.
the wall.
000.
I never noticed that before.
so the idea there is that and we can probably talk about that because she was in production design, but
Yeah.
Basically, he's came over and they bring down their different gravity coordinates, all the different 37 spots, and they come over.
Came into my house, and other Scott appeared and
You remember writing all those numbers on the wall. Rachel's out there prepping the set the night before, writing those numbers all over the wall, doing everything because we tore it all down.
Pregnant.
Yeah, she was 6 months pregnant.
Right.
he knew you were in trouble.
It was fun though. I had such a blast.
And here's the lightning bolt.
Was.
Thunder.
Shared tangential connection, like a connective thread between each universe.
See the light change there? That was all natural.
Like a transdimensional X-ray.
Okay.
You can see it. Wanna go?
Yeah, we had to add a sound effect to help explain the sudden change in lighting.
And it also fit because it's right when they figure out Margell might be in trouble. I mean, we could have pulled it and did some color grading, but we decided to keep it because I think it highlights the fact that that's a pretty important moment right there, that realization.
It doesn't matter now, you're okay. You were right, babe. With everything you've been through this
Rosalie, I added here when he kind of turns around to kiss you, coming up, and I added a clap sound effect. It's a lot louder. So make it a little more aggressive in that way.
And then his armor right there.
Bam.
Mm-hmm.
I remember here, Lar, you went in and told Colton, just go in there and kiss her. Kiss her really, you never.
Yeah. I was trying to get the jump in there.
I remember the sound guy. I can't remember his name, but he's like, "Do you want to hear something?" And he put the earphones over my ears, and it was a really loud me kissing sound, And I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
man."
Yeah.
kind of weird. Why do I never have kids?
So there's an interesting point here. He's talking about having kids, right? And for everyone watching, you know what happened earlier in the movie when he snuck over. Is she carrying with her right now a doppelganger baby? Somebody from another baby. And if so, what happens if that baby gets expelled from the universe? And she's all kinds of weird ways that can go if you stop and think about it.
That's in the next movie.
Right.
So at what point did she realize it wasn't the right Scott? That's what I want to know. What point in the scene?
What's that, Paul?
What point in the scene did she realize she's talking to the wrong Scott?
Right
probably,
Right there?
Let me answer that. When do you think you figured it out, Rosalie?
I think it's right there in that moment. It was just in those earlier words, or I guess in this conversation overall. It's like, what? Now you want kids? Now you want this stuff?
Yeah,
I think it was earlier because I think that's what made you move away from that table in a casual way to prepare.
Right.
You knew that knife was over there. You're gonna save yourself, if possible.
Right. It was at the table.
Right.
I love this part. I'm starting to regret that I brought such a big drink in because I have to pee really bad. I don't want to leave.
Welcome to Zoom etiquette class, everybody.
There it is.
Sean Stevens.
I love that wide shot. It shows how close they are.
No, this is how clean the house is.
Oh, yeah.
Because now we have 4 kids.
This is the cleanest
2 kids at that time.
You have it as a memento now.
Right.
He does. I'll listen to him and he'll be editing and he'll be like, babe, come here, I gotta show you something, which usually means, hey, look at this cool shot. And sometimes it's just him with a paused scene of the kitchen going, look how clean the kitchen is.
That's fun.
Awesome.
The good old days.
All right, here's the big reveal with of Vince's character.
Hello, Scott. What I was afraid of. Tell me, Vince.
I love Aaron's
Consider the life you really lived here? Was that inevitable risk?
Aaron, your character, Vince, he had to have known this wasn't going to work out well for him.
So I love when the reveal makes you go all the way back to the beginning of a movie and then think about what was going on.
Right. I think he was just so lonely. He wanted his friend back, and so if he had to impersonate another version, to make
Yeah.
that he was willing to do it.
You see impersonate whilst still cutting out killing, stalking. Like there's a lot that goes into that whole impersonate.
Right.
So like, how innocent is Vincent?
Yeah, Aaron, for the people watching, that's probably a really good question for you. In all of this, how innocent really is Vincent?
What?
Right now I see a frozen, blocky picture of your face. So
I mean, I'd say he's pretty innocent, except, I mean, his intentions were good. I think he missed his friend, but...
Good intentions pave the pathway
Sorry
to
about
hell.
But I think he's pretty innocent. But where is the other Vincent, though? There was one there.
Right.
So who's not to save it?
This is a great monologue, Lar, that Colton gives here. A fantastic job here.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was one review or comment somewhere where they really called this out. This is a fantastic job. And here comes this creepy lick.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. He did it so well though.
Actually, I had to add a
That's when it really hits it, like,
So
no.
creepy.
Hopefully that is the most interesting thing on a Zoom call you'll ever do, to make it wetter.
You're right.
I knew Aaron would appreciate that. It's okay.
And Stephen, I meant to call out earlier too. There are a couple of places I wanted to. Right when the music that started up, right when he pulled that knife, I think that was a great job there as well. How the beat just picked up like that. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really fun to write because I don't know why I was just like feeling like I wanted to groove, so
Right.
I made a groove. But I also wanted to make that impact really important. So there's a big giant like bell that plays right when it happens as well. It's underneath everything else.
Right.
And I like that this is the part that everyone's just into. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yep. See what happens now.
Yeah.
Went a little bit lower angle there to kind of looking up on other Scott to make him a little bit more menacing. And then another piece here, Alan. I know a lot of your viewers are the filmmakers. We all know the rule, right? When you're filming, you don't cross the line. Obviously, that's where you want to keep the camera sort of in the C circumference to not confuse the audience.
Right.
This scene, we purposely jumped over a couple of times to make it a little bit more hectic and a little bit more, a little more frazzled. And you know, if you know what you're doing and you sort of plan that out ahead of time, it can be used to your advantage as well in certain situations. So I wanted to kind of point that out to everybody too, to kind of, you don't always want to take all the textbook rules for everything. You got to be willing to jump out there and take some risks and move things around a little bit.
It's kind of that idea of understanding the rules in order to break them.
Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, pretty cool.
We are just so into this moment.
Yeah. This is the climax, so if we're going to get sucked in, this is where everybody notice the above the desk there, the wormhole. We got a poster of a wormhole up there.
Oh no! Yeah.
Right.
I'll actually, when you look at the wide shot, you can see the battery holder, the thing when he pulled up earlier and the steam came out. That actually was an old washer machine that we put together and turned it into that. So Rachel that was her again, all on that one with the paint and the cover over the porthole cover and all that good stuff.
So good.
Nice.
After we were done shooting it, we put it out on the curb for like bulk pickup, and that thing was gone in a half an hour.
Yeah. It's pretty torn up though, so whoever picked it up wasn't able to use it, I'm sure.
You know what? I'm pretty sure that they did that. That's not why they picked it up.
I love it too. This is tough to edit. This scene where they're fighting because their heads are bouncing all over the place, but that's Colton wrestling with James Corday, our standing.
Yeah.
He was just fantastic. Such a good thing.
Yeah, and getting those effect shots in right too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
What?
Scenes simply because of his wig and the bandana on top. We got the wig from a Goodwill store, and Sean, when we first got it, we were in Oregon for a friend's wedding, and he was like, "Hey, there's a Goodwill, and I really need to find kind of this like wacky wig. Maybe I can find something there." And so he goes and comes back with this wig, and wore it all through the store, and no one would approach him. People actually hugged their children closer. It was fantastically horrible.
So the one thing that people don't realize is we're in this third Scott universe, that's the hairstyle, man. That's what everybody.
Exactly.
No.
That's cool.
Oh Lord.
This is this is where he says, "I'll always love you." And he's like, "Okay, that's enough."
Yeah, enough of it.
Wanted to take a screenshot of this and put his
Like,
hair
okay.
on each person's head and see what everybody would look like with that hairstyle. Which I'll hold it.
Does look like such a bro.
Yes. And now going back to those rules we talked about earlier, now all the doors are shut. You don't have the device is broken, so now
Right.
one of the two Scots has got to be expelled.
What?
It's been funny just to let that linger for a very long time.
Right.
I think, Stephen, when you got this, the expulsion
Right.
sound effect was already in there, right? The whoosh, 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 that sound effect that happens. What was it like scoring over top of that? Because I tried to put the most atrocious noise you can possibly think of for that expulsion effect, and then asking you to lay music over that. How was that?
I just had to lower the volume, to be honest with you, because it was like really
Yeah.
loud. But yeah, it wasn't that bad, you know. It was easy to work with, you know. And at that point, we just
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I was curious about that because I knew that. I was wondering how that was going to work out. Here's that part where he turns his head and Frank says, you know, we can build it again. We give you whatever you want. What does he say there? Is he thinking about his you know, getting his brother Tom back, or what's he thinking of? And that's that was the curtain call for Lar. So great job, Lar. This scene we shot up north in northern Arizona. Gosh, Aaron, it was what, about a year and a half after?
Year and a half after.
Yeah.
I thought it was that December.
Was it? Okay. This is what it rated.
Really cool.
Bringing out the oranges. You obviously you can't tell the final product, but the ground there was actually almost like a white colored sort of sand, and we actually it was a big challenge to get it the way that we wanted it to look.
Saying it really was like a white ground. That's what he's saying right there.
It's a good location. So dark and otherworldly.
Yeah.
For this. Well, you're driving through.
This is the Casablanca ending, right?
And then there's one more mid-credit scene coming up here after this. But I love the music. You changed it up here again, Stephen, as well. We talked about that. I think that was
this was like my Labyrinth moment where I wrote like a pretend pop song. This is like the vocals. That's me through like a synthesizer. Like that's me singing. Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice.
So cool.
It's weird. You had to use the synthesizer. That's what I sound like while I normally.
Yeah, love that music.
All right, so here is.
Oh my gosh.
The idea here is we want people to think of what is this? You know, what's going on? And then once you get the shot of Lennon walking up again, you'll understand he's still out there. They're still spying. They're still going.
Yep.
There's those light effects again with the multiple lens flares. And those are two of our girls there, our daughters, and also Lennon, the actor Bob Glass here, that's his daughter as well.
Oh, okay.
Next time. I love it.
Yay!
Yay!
All right. Well, that's Expulsion. Yeah. How about some final thoughts? You've gone through this entire process. You've made your movie. What are you feeling at the moment?
Aaron, you want to kick it off?
It's frozen.
What was the delay on his signal there? So.
Happy.
Yeah.
Did it turn out the way you expected? There's got to be a level in which there's some things
just
that
glad people
surprise
can
you,
see
but
it.
a lot of it. Absolutely.
What was that, Aaron?
He just said he's glad people could see it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, and for me, it really was. Obviously, when you have budget restraints, in the way that we did, it becomes a more than a passion project. I mean, it's always, I think, any film anybody gets involved, there should be a passion project. But when you're kind of hit with the budget constraints, and it just means things take a little bit longer to get created, but it gives you more time to refine what you've already done, at least through the post production process. But I'm really happy with the job that everybody did. I feel like we had some brilliant people behind this, all the way from Paul helping out the distribution and the early casting choices, through Aaron and his writing abilities and helping out, and Steven, obviously, the score. We went through several different composers potentially, and it quickly became apparent when you gave us that first demo for the opening scene that you were the right choice. And then obviously, Lar, all of your help both on the acting side and most certainly on the acting coaching side, and then doing everything from helping move a curl of hair over to actually jumping over there and giving some more sort of motivational talk to Colton to help him to give his best performance, which he certainly did. And then Amy and Rosalie, great performance there as well. We wanted to get something different than the typical spy villain and the typical housewife. And I think we absolutely got that out of you both. You both played the roles brilliantly and with a lot of with your own spin on it, which really came across in the final product. But I just want to thank everybody. I think it did turn out, it really as well as we had hoped it would. We're looking forward to getting into some larger budget things here in the future, and making some additional movies. Paul and I are starting up a distribution company called Colossal Content. We're gonna follow a lot of the same model that we currently have in terms of acquiring and helping other filmmakers get their movies out there. There's a big thing in the film industry right now where you're either distributing a movie and then you're probably not getting the level of respect as a small filmmaker and getting the level of return, quite honestly, that you want. So you might go the self-distribution route. Well, then you're running into film aggregation, where you got somebody that can help you get your movie out there, but they're not going to put any marketing behind it. So Paul and I are taking both of these things, putting them together to become a company that will help you get the marketing piece and the film aggregation all in one stop. And obviously, Film Threat's going to be a big part of that as well. So we're really excited, and we really hope that we can help other people tell their stories, as well as working on some things that we have in the can, and also that we're in the process of acquiring right now as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I said it up front, but what's exciting about filmmaking today, especially in the area of sci-fi, is just how accessible it is now to filmmakers without large budgets, and the tools that are at your disposal, so to speak, and it just opens the world to a broader breadth of sci-fi storytelling that just wasn't available 10 years ago even. So
I just realized that Rachel and I are looking up here. We have a big screen, but it looks like we're looking not at the camera the whole time. Hey, everybody, we actually are, believe it or not. So,
anyone else have final thoughts?
Just thank you so much. I loved being a part of this project.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. It was such a pleasant surprise to see all the special effects and how it played out. That was hard to just sit and wait for, because you're just wondering the whole time, is that green screen in the back gonna turn into anything? Yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Y'all have a great night.
Yeah, have a great night, everybody.
Go your way, everybody. Stay safe and wear your masks.
Yes, and we saw Expulsion. Amazon Prime, Vudu, if you haven't done it already, Apple Play, Apple, and then Google Play. So with that, let's get out of here. All right.